Hello kids, welcome to Studentink. Welcome if you are new here. I'm Lakshita and welcome back if you have already been coming here. I'm pretty sure कि अभी आप लोगों के पास बहुत सारा नॉलेज आ गया है जिसके थ्रू आप बहुत अच्छे मार्क्स स्कोर कर सकते हो. So अभी हम सबको पता है राइट कि एग्जाम्स जस्ट आने वाले हैं, है ना? और हम लोगों को ये जो ऑनलाइन एग्जाम्स है ये दे के इतना आदत हो गया है कि ऑफलाइन एग्जाम्स देने में सबको बहुत डर लगता है. 3 घंटे एक ही जगह बैठ के जस्ट राइटिंग द पेपर. इट्स वेरी टेरिफाइंग एंड ऑनेस्टली वो सबके लिए बहुत डरावना है बिकॉज फाइनली जब आप एग्जाम्स देने जाते हैं तो आपको ऑलरेडी डर रहता है राइट. और उसके बाद अब वापस एक जोन में जिसमें हम फिर से दूसरे जोन में शिफ्ट होना इज ऑलवेज अ लिटिल हार्ड. बट डोंट वरी, Studentink has brought an entire series of crash course just for you. So be it maths, be it science, be it English, be it SST, be it any subject, we are covering it all within a month. Okay? So आपके सारे doubts, सारे questions, सारे important questions जो एग्जाम में पूछे जा सकते हैं या आपके कोई भी ऐसे specific answers जो आपको construct करने में हमारी help चाहिए, all of it is being conducted and is being discussed in these live lectures. So make sure कि आप ये लाइव लेक्चर का सीरीज गलती से भी मिस ना करें. अगर आपने गलती से बाय एनी चांस और बिकॉज यू आर बिजी आप लोगों की बिकॉज ऑफ एनी रीजन स्पेसिफिकली अगर आप लोगों ने ये लाइव लेक्चर का सीरीज थोड़ा बहुत भी इधर उधर मिस कर दिया है तो ये पूरा आपको स्टूडेंटिंक एप्लीकेशन पे अवेलेबल मिलेगा. तो आप वहाँ जाके ये सारे जितने भी इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक्स पे हम लोग डिस्कशन कर रहे हैं उसे रिविजिट कर सकते हैं, उससे पॉइंटर्स नोट कर सकते हैं. एंड वी हैव सम ऑफ द बेस्ट फैकल्टी इन द वर्ल्ड जो एक्चुअली यहाँ पे आके आप लोगों को उनके नॉलेज के थ्रू आपके जितने डाउट्स हैं वो सब सॉल्व करने का ट्राई करते हैं. So let's make sure we make the best out. So today again, like we have already been going across with, today we have another live lecture that we are going to conduct, right? So before we start that live lecture, already know the drill of like, share and subscribe. Okay, so make sure you actually like, share, subscribe the channel ताकि जितने भी अलग नोटिफिकेशंस लेक्चर्स के बारे में इंफॉर्मेशन या कुछ भी को करिकुलर की अगर हम लोग कंडक्ट कर रहे हैं तो आपके पास उस चीज के बारे में at the same time ताकि आप लोग साथ में ग्रो करें because we are here to create a community of education, right? that knowledge is something that grows when we share. Okay, so जब तक आप वो कर रहे हैं I'll quickly share my screen with you and I'll show you कि ये application आप कहाँ से access कर सकते हैं और ये सारा information आपको कहाँ पे मिलेगा. Okay, so when you go here, this is what the Octopod Studentink app looks like. ये आप Android Play Store या Apple Store से डाउनलोड कर सकते हैं. Octopod Studentink आप लिखेंगे तो आपको ये एप्लीकेशन मिल जाएगा. अगर आपकी खुद की कोई अकेडमी एसोसिएटेड है, मतलब आप किसी स्कूल से बिलोंग करते हैं तो यहाँ पे स्कूल का नाम आएगा. अदरवाइज यू विल गेट द पोस्ट सेक्शन जो आपको यहाँ दिख रहा है. तो पोस्ट सेक्शन के अंदर आपको सारे अपडेट्स मिलते रहेंगे of different lectures and everything. Okay, so as if now we had Ashwini ma'am ka lecture which we had, so we have her lectures. There are so many people who view it, who actually ask comments or who want to start this lecture because she is such an amazing teacher. So she is one of the great English teachers that we have. Then we have Ruchi ma'am. Similarly, we have a lot of different teachers that are there. Okay, so आप उनके साथ के lectures यहाँ से access कर सकते हैं. Then we have this area called Student World. तो जब आप Student World पे जाते हैं, so for 3rd March we had 3 lectures that we conducted. Okay, so अगर आप जाएंगे तो आप इसे add to calendar कर सकते हैं. जब आप इसे add to calendar करेंगे तो यहाँ आएगा live lecture added to your calendar. Now अब ये add to calendar में जो आपका live lecture है वो आप कैसे access करेंगे? तो नीचे ये जो आपको academies वाला section दिख रहा है, ये अकेडमी वाले सेक्शन में जब आप जाएंगे तो यहाँ पे यू फाइंड कैलेंडर. ओके, जब आप कैलेंडर वाले सेक्शन पे जाके उस पर क्लिक करेंगे तो फॉर द डेट जो भी डेट होगा उसकी स्पेसिफिकली जैसे 3rd मार्च है तो 3rd मार्च के स्पेसिफिकली आपका वो जो लेक्चर है वो यहाँ शेड्यूल हो जाएगा. ओके, सो देन यू कैन क्लिक ऑन ज्वाइन नाउ और आप ये लेक्चर आराम से ज्वाइन कर सकते हैं. आप इस लिंक पे इस पोस्ट पे रिडायरेक्ट हो जाएंगे और आपके जो भी क्वेश्चंस हैं आप यहाँ पे पूछ सकते हैं. दिस यूजर इज ऑलरेडी कनेक्टेड टू अश्विनी मैम, अदरवाइज यहाँ पे आपको एक कनेक्ट बटन दिया है. ओके, सो इस कनेक्ट बटन के थ्रू आप अश्विनी मैम के साथ कनेक्ट भी हो सकते हैं. नाउ इफ आई गिव यू एन आइडिया कि कनेक्ट बटन कैसा दिखता है, सो व्हेन वी विल गो बैक, सो ओवर हियर व्हेन वी वेंट थ्रू द पोस्ट सेक्शन, तो यहाँ पे वी हैड डिफरेंट यूजर्स. लेट मी सी इफ देयर इज एनी यूजर जिसके थ्रू मैं आपको कनेक्ट बटन दिखा सकती हूँ. Okay, I guess this user is connected to everyone. See यहाँ पे, so this is Vivek sir, right? So इनका भी कल लेक्चर था, तो वहाँ पे आपको एक कनेक्ट बटन दिखता है. जब आप इस कनेक्ट बटन पे क्लिक करेंगे, so मैसेज आएगा you are now connected. So when you get this message, that means कि आप सर के साथ कनेक्ट हो चुकी हैं. आपको कोई भी डाउट्स हैं, कोई भी क्वेरीज हैं, आप सर को डायरेक्टली पूछ सकते हैं. Then when you go down to the student world section, so आपको यहाँ पे different vouchers and coupons दिखेंगे. इन डिफरेंट वाउचर्स एंड कूपन्स के अंदर आपकी कॉलेज के, आपके स्कूल के आसपास के जितनी भी शॉप्स हैं, जितनी भी लोकेलिटीज हैं, उन सारे एरियाज के वाउचर्स और कूपन्स यहाँ पे. सो आप इन्हें रिवॉर्ड पॉइंट्स के थ्रू अवेल कर सकते हैं. ओके, सो रिवॉर्ड पॉइंट्स क्या होते हैं? जब भी आप यहाँ पे असाइनमेंट ऑन टाइम सबमिट करते हैं या फिर आप कोई लाइव लेक्चर ऑन टाइम कनेक्ट कर लेते हैं उसके साथ, या फिर आप से किसी अपने स्कूल के या स्टूडेंट वर्ल्ड के किसी पोस्ट के साथ इंटरैक्ट करते हैं, लाइक करते हैं, कमेंट करते हैं, तो आपको रिवॉर्ड पॉइंट्स मिलते हैं. सो आप ये सारे लेक्चर्स उन रिवॉर्ड पॉइंट्स के बेसिस पे बाय कर सकते हैं, या कूपन्स उन रिवॉर्ड पॉइंट्स के बेसिस पे बाय कर सकते हैं, राइट? सो उसके थ्रू आपको एक्स्ट्रा डिस्काउंट मिल जाएगा. एट द सेम टाइम यू हैव कोर्सेज. तो यहाँ पे बहुत सारे डिफरेंट कोर्सेज हैं. ये सारे जो ऑब्जेक्टिव टेस्ट हैं, ये आपके स्कूल के टीचर्स ने ही बनाए. तो इसके अंदर बहुत सारे इंपॉर्टेंट पर्सन है जो आपके एग्जाम में आपकी बहुत हेल्प करेंगे. देन वी हैव एडवांस कोर्सेज आल्सो. जैसे स्पोकन इंग्लिश का एडवांस कोर्स है. सो आई हैव ऑलरेडी परचेज्ड दिस कोर्स, सो इट शोज मी द कोर्स इज ऑलरेडी परचेज्ड. अदरवाइज जब आपको परचेज करना होगा तो आप ये रिवॉर्ड पॉइंट्स के थ्रू परचेज भी कर सकते हैं. ओके, सो इसके अंदर आपको सारे इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक्स मिल जाएंगे जो एडवांस लेवल पे आपको सीखने को मिलेंगे, राइट? एट द सेम टाइम देयर आर लॉट ऑफ स्किल डेवलपमेंट कोर्सेज आल्सो. जैसे कि in this course you will learn different things such as you will learn coding, you will learn graphic designing, science experiments, yoga. So आपको ये सारी चीजें कोर्स के अंदर सीखने को मिलेंगी just by the help of buying the few reward points. So आपके overall development के लिए help करेगा. Okay, and then finally you come down to the category section. So आपको जिस भी कैटेगरी के अंदर इंटरेस्ट है, be it art and craft, be it entrance exams, be it foreign education, आप उस कैटेगरी को जाके सिलेक्ट कर सकते हैं. और उस कैटेगरी को जब आप सिलेक्ट करेंगे तो उसके अंदर आपको फोकस्ड वीडियोस मिलेंगे जो आपकी खुद की फ्यूचर के लिए, आपके खुद की नॉलेज बैंक के लिए बहुत यूजफुल रहेंगे. सो मेक श्योर दैट you come down to the application, you utilize all of this content because all of this content is for free, right? And because it is for free, you should make sure कि आप इसका optimum utilization करें. Okay, so I'll just stop sharing my screen now. And now we are going to get started with the lecture. So without any further ado, let's get started.
Hello students, how are you? आप सब लोग अभी मजे में होंगे और स्कूल चालू हो गई है. अभी तो बस वाइंडिंग हो रहा है सब, बिकॉज हमारा एग्जाम भी आने वाला है आप सभी का. और at the same time you are also started preparing for your exam also, and that is why today we are going to take the topic which is very much helpful as per exam point of view. And from 4th onwards, you have this topic, and that is letter writing. It is a part of writing skill, and we'll understand it through the screen. Okay, so let me share my screen. You can have all the information on the screen. Just a minute. Yes. Fine. So as here, you can look at from the screen that formal and informal letter writing. Fine. So let us begin this with this point only. Letter writing, or you can say letters, are of two types, two kinds: formal and informal letter. Okay. और आपको एग्जाम में भी कुछ भी आ सकता है, मतलब अगर आपके सिलेबस डिसाइड किया है और आपको बोला गया है कि नहीं फॉर्मल लेटर ही है, तो भी इट विल बी वेरी यूजफुल टू यू. एंड अगर यू हैव informal writing, letter writing in your syllabus, then also we'll understand that also. Fine. So this letter writing is very much useful and interesting even. In this era, we do not write letters generally. But as a grammatical topic, we need to understand it, and it is asked in our grammar paper also. Fine. We type message, we text message, and we send it very at a stretch within the moment to the receiver. Okay. So letters are in a way outdated form of communication. But then also, as a grammatical topic, we need to understand. Fine. So formal and informal letters, they are of two types. Fine. Now let us understand formal letter type. First of all, let me tell you that it is a part of writing skills, and that is why letter is used to communicate with someone, isn't it? We are sender and the other is receiver in a way. So letter writing is an important topic in the English writing skills section for school students, because we do write in our paper also. Everyone must know how to write a letter. While writing a formal letter, one has to follow a simple letter writing format. Now see, every writer, or you can say here, to be very precise, letter writing, as we are going to take this point. Letter writing has a specific format. One has to understand this format, and accordingly we write it. Without not following the format of letter, we would not get full marks in this writing skill. Fine. Because in exam, ultimately we'll have to have marks. So one has to write according to the format only. And there are different formats of formal letter and informal letter. Fine. It's a slight difference would be there. So let us understand first of all the formal letter writing. How to write a letter? A formal letter can be written for various reasons. Here we have covered the formal letter format written for different purposes. On the other hand, an informal letter is written to one's friends, family, or relatives. As an informal letter is not an official letter. That means formal letter is an official letter to be written to someone who is the person who would be in the post, the official would be in the status higher than you, and you write a letter to so and so person. Sometimes in informal letter, we do not follow the format very strictly, as I told you. But in formal letter, we need to follow the format. Fine. Because informal letter, we send it or we write it to one's friends, family, or relatives, to our near and dear ones. So the language, the grammatical structure, the words used, everything would be different than the formal letter type. Okay. Next. Now see, types of formal letter format. How to write a formal letter? and example. We will understand this. Now see, formal letter types. To whom we can write a letter, and that is a formal letter. Letter to the editor, editor to any newspaper, any magazine. Okay, letter to the government, to any government official, we can write down a letter. Fine. For example, to the commissioner of the city, we can write down a letter concerning about the garbage heaps in our area. Okay, so we can write down such formal letter. Okay, then for any government task, we can write down such letter to the authority concerned. Fine. Then letter to the police. For example, if I want to write a letter regarding the theft in our area or in the city, we can definitely write down the letter to the police, and that would be formal letter. Letter to the principal of the school, college, we write down a letter. That is because that is he or she is the authority, and that is why we can write down the letter. For example, if I want to write down a letter about the need for cleanliness in the school, we can definitely write down it to the principal. Order letter, complaint letter. Now, complaint letter is also a formal letter, and it is written to the concerned authority or a person. Why do we write? To complain, as the complaint itself is complaint letter. We complain about something or some product. Okay. Herein, while complaining the letter, in the letter, we express our dissatisfaction about something, or we need a change of something, and we write down a letter. Okay. So, any problem, concern about anything, we write down in complaint letter. Okay. Now, inquiry letter. If you want to find out something, gather the information on something, you can definitely write down to inquiry letter to anyone who is person concerned. Okay. Business letter. Definitely we can write down business letter to the so and so firm, so and so authority, so and so you can say factory, industry. So that is would be business letter. Application letter for job, that is also a type of formal letter. We write to the person concerned. If you want to get a job for a teacher, definitely you can write down to the authority, to the principal of the school. Later to the bank manager. For example, if you want to open an account in so and so bank, you can write down a letter to the bank manager about the problem concerned. Resignation letter, invitation letter, leave application for marriage. So these are the various types, subtypes of formal letters. Okay. So on which you can write down a formal sort of letter. Okay. And this letter must have a kind of format. So one has to, one has to follow the format very carefully when you write down this formal letter type. Because we have a problem or we need to show something to the authority, we write down, and the authority means person who is higher than us, post-wise. Okay. And that is why we write down such letters to the authority, to the person concerned. And so we need to understand the format. What can we include? What can't we include? What sort of things would be there? How do we begin our letter? How do we sum up our letter? Where would be the address? So this sort of minor but very important things need to be understand first. Okay. Now, letter to the editor format. Okay. The format of a letter to the editor of a newspaper is as follows. Editor to the newspaper. Okay. Sender's address. First of all, what will come generally in format letter? What would be in formal letter? Generally in formal letter. And see, this format would be applicable to any format letter. Formal letter. Only you need to change something. Okay. Say for example, when you change the address, the detail. Okay. So only thing that you need to change. Few things only. First of all, sender's address. It would be on the left-hand side of the page. The address and contact detail of the sender are written here. Include an email and phone number also, if required or if mentioned in the question. If required, email address, then you can write down, and even phone number also. But otherwise, only address and contact details would be enough for the sender's address. And that is the first topmost, you can say, point you need to go through. Date. The date is written below the sender's address after leaving one space or line. Remember that. Date is written below the sender's address. We will definitely look at through examples also, sample address, sample letters also. But understand this. Date is written below the sender's address. Sender address के बिल्कुल नीचे कौन लिख रहा है ये लेटर, तो आपको और टू whom किसको लिख रहा है वो आपको समझना पड़ेगा. अगर आप लिख रहे हैं तो आप अपना पूरा एड्रेस लिखिए एंड देन डेट जो है वो एक लाइन छोड़ के स्पेस दे के लिखिए. And we do not add any punctuation marks to the address. Receiving editor's address. The address of the recipient of the mail, i.e. the editor is written here, means address of the recipient would be written. Fine. And subject of the letter. Subject of the letter means the main purpose of the letter forms the subject. The main body, you can say, of the letter. It must be written in one line. It must convey the matter for which the letter is written. फॉर्मल लेटर में आपको सब्जेक्ट लिखना पड़ेगा. इनफॉर्मल में आप सब्जेक्ट नहीं लिखोगे तो चलेगा, बट फॉर्मल में आपको सब्जेक्ट लिखना पड़ेगा. रिसीवर्स एड्रेस के एग्जैक्ट नीचे आपको सब्जेक्ट लिखना पड़ेगा. सब्जेक्ट लिख के एक स्पेस देके लिखिए कि आप कौन से पर्पस से लेटर लिख रहे हो. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आप बैंक मैनेजर को लेटर लिख रहे हैं कि आपको अकाउंट खुलवाना है, तो आप कैसे लिखोगे? सब्जेक्ट. To open an account. Okay, we have already written the other details regarding address and to whom we are writing. For example, the so and so person, Mr. So and so, the bank manager of so and so bank. So here in the subject, you need to show the problem within 2 paragraphs. Okay, not more than that, 2 or 3. What do you want as per the sender, and why recipient is included here. Okay, so that is why you need to understand this. Next is, ये सब आपको लेफ्ट हैंड साइड लिखना है पेज के. Salutation. After the subject of subject, that is, you have to do salutation in formal letter. We are talking about formal letter. sir, respected sir, madam, you can say like this. And then the main body appears. Whatever is included in the subject to open an account, you are to illustrate here, express here in the main body. है ना सिंपल. आपने जो सब्जेक्ट लिखा है, आपको जो दिया गया है सब्जेक्ट, फॉर एग्जाम्पल garbage heaps in our area, you write a letter to the commissioner of the city regarding garbage heaps, uncleanliness near our society. So how will you write? Respected sir, madam, करके बाद में मेन बॉडी में, क्योंकि सब्जेक्ट में आपने लिखा ही है कि a complaint about garbage heaps in our area. So now in main body you are to illustrate the complaint. The matter of the letter is written here. It is divided into 3 paragraphs. Paragraph 1, introduce yourself and the purpose of writing the letter in brief. ये 3 पैराग्राफ कवर करता है. फर्स्ट पैराग्राफ में क्या है कि आपको अपने आप को इंट्रोड्यूस करना है. And the purpose, objective behind writing a letter. Purpose behind writing a letter, वो आपको देख लेना है. Briefly मतलब shortly. बहुत ज्यादा भी नहीं और बहुत कम भी नहीं. Then second paragraph में give detail of the matter. और आपको पूरा डिटेलिंग करना है सेकंड पैराग्राफ में कि ये जो मैटर है वो किस तरह से है, कितने दिन से है, क्या है, क्यों है. ओके. एंड द थर्ड पैराग्राफ इज कंक्लूजन. ऑलवेज conclude by mentioning what you expect from the editor. For example, you may want him to highlight the issue in his newspaper or magazine also. Okay. So when you are writing an editor to the newspaper, in conclusion, you will have to sum up your topic and you need to say about something about the topic. And you, for example, it is already written that you may want him to highlight the issue in his newspaper or magazine. If you want to highlight this issue, you can definitely use it. Okay, but then you will have to say waiting for the complementary closing. Here in this topic, you are to write down the sum up words. Sum up means conclusion words. Say for example, you say that looking for the apt result. Meanwhile, thanking you. So this is complementary conclusion. Okay, closing of your letter. Winding up. So this you will have to write down. And then at the end, sender's name, signature and designation, if any. And then at the end, on the left hand side only, you are to write down sender's name, address and signature. So this is the writing of formal letter. Okay. Now, letter to editor example. You are Radha Ji, a member of NGO Awas. Write a letter to the editor of a national daily for a public movement to clean the Yamuna river. You must introduce yourself, describe how the people are to be blamed for polluting the river, and suggest the need for installing water treatment plant to clean the river. Now, so these are the points given, and it is written by so and so person to so and so. Okay. Then let us understand the example. Say for example, subject, need for people's movement for the clean Yamuna. The editor, Hindustan Times, New Delhi. This is just for the, you can say, sample letter. Dear editor, or you can say respected editor also. But dear is also written. I am Radha Ji, member of NGO Awas. I am writing to you in order to highlight the deteriorating condition of the river Yamuna. Okay, let me highlight this so that you can see. Deteriorating means Yamuna is polluted and you want it to be cleaned. And that is why you want to show it to the newspaper editor to write down this later. Okay. In through the magazine so that people can know this. The city, and you run NGO called Avaz, and through that you want to show the people. The city of Delhi is getting contaminated water from the river Yamuna, polluting water from the river Yamuna. The residents are to be blamed for this. They pollute the river with garbage, sewage, and filth. Filth means dirt. The river water is full of bacteria, plastic, chemicals, and other waste materials. Because nearby there would be factories, and definitely their garbage. Garbage matlab dust, kachra, filth, dirty, polluted things would be thrown to the river, into the river. And it would definitely increase bacteria, then plastic, chemicals, and other waste materials. It is unfit for consumption. Definitely, you cannot drink any unpolluted water. Polluted water, sorry. And that is why it is the consumption of water is too much dangerous for the people. The people have been demanding a water treatment plant. Okay. The authorities have not yet responded to the repeated requests. One has to have the water treatment plant if it is given to the public and it is not done, the pollution would not be removed, then one has to have the water treatment plant. The authorities have not yet responded to the repeated request. You must have done repeated requests publicly, but the authority would have not given any response, and that is why you are writing as Radha Ji, okay, your name, to the editorial general of the newspaper. I request you to highlight the problem in your newspaper and arouse public interest. We all need to get together in order to get the plant set up in the area. And one has to see this is a teamwork, and that is why you say that one has to be all together to solve this problem and to set up the plant, water treatment plant. Okay, so this is the closing. Thank you. Yours sincerely, Radhaji, member Avas. Now here, this is a very short letter written. Since it is a sample letter, we have not added anything here. But you can add few things here also in second paragraph. That this public, for this unpolluted river called Yamuna, we need to have public awareness. We need to generate public awareness. And so through the newspaper, I need to have the public awareness. And if the public will be aware, the general people will be aware, then this problem will be solved very soon. Okay, so you write down this. You can illustrate the problem within 2-3 lines, more than this also. That the whole, because of this bacteria and plastic and chemicals added to river Yamuna, we always get filled water, dirty water, and it is completely not drinkable at all. And we cannot even wash our clothes, our daily routine through by this sort of water. Okay, and so we need water cleaning plant to be added into our area. Okay, so you write down in this way. So this was a sample letter of a formal letter. Now letter to the government. Now this is also the part of formal letter. It is written to inform the government, especially to the government official, about a particular situation or make a request or any other official purpose. You want to show a particular situation, or you want to make a request, or for any other official purpose, you can write down this formal letter. Okay. And how does this letter help to the public? It helps the public to reach out to the government. It helps the public to avail public services, helps the public to provide suggestions, bridges the gap between the government and the public. And that is why we write such government letter to the government official. Here also, sender's address, date, then receiver's address, subject, heading, salutation, body of the letter, and complimentary clause. These are the points to be included in this sort of letter. For example, see, write a letter to the municipal commissioner of your city regarding the poor quality and inadequate supply of the municipal water. You are the president of HWA of Gulmohar Colony, Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh. Fine. So this is a letter. Now how will you write? The Municipal Commissioner, Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh. Now see, this address is written here. Actually by mistake, it should be on the left-hand side only. Okay. Poor quality and inadequate supply of municipal water. Respected Madam or Sir, I, on behalf of all the residents, write to draw your attention towards the poor quality and inadequate supply of municipal water in the area of Gulmohar Colony. We have been facing the inconvenience since a week now. Your problem you have given here after the salutation. Earlier, there was regular supply of municipal water throughout the day, but now the situation is worrisome. The water is rarely available and the quality too has deteriorated. It is pale in color and has a foul smell. Due to this, it has become unfit for drinking and can neither be used for any other activity. Our daily routine also, it is harmful. The situation has become so bad that we are compelled to purchase bottles water or even bottled water and or even consume groundwater at times. I hereby humbly request, now this is closing. This was the main body and then closing, you to look into the grave issue and take serious issue, grave also issue, and take the necessary action required to restore adequate supply of clean water in the area. I look forward to your cooperation at the earliest. Thanking you, yours truly. As you are writing as on behalf of the society, you are to sum up in this way. Okay. So this was the letter to return to municipal commissioner. Now this is the first format for that address also of your society, Gulmohar Colony, Bhopal, in the top of the, that is in the right side. On the right side, you can have on left hand side also. Okay. Now informal letter. How to write informal letter? A letter written for an informal purpose is called an informal letter. It is written for a casual purpose. Okay. Let us discuss the type of an informal letter. Letter to parents, letter to siblings, your brothers and sisters, informal letter to friend, letter to classmates or neighbors. You can write down any such informal letter to anyone. Fine. So this is written to your near and dear one. And that is why we do not follow strictly any format. But one has to follow sometimes because it is a grammatical topic, that's why. An informal letter does not strictly follow the prescribed format. But the language of an informal letter must be friendly and casual. This would not be followed in formal letter. Understood? An informal letter can have extra information also. It should not be, not necessarily to the point. It can include extra information also about health, about any inquiry. Okay. The subject line is not required in an informal letter. Fine. Subject would not be written in informal letter, that a letter for so and so purpose. Okay. The format would be address, The address of the sender is followed by that of the receiver, then date, then salutation, greetings, dear, hi, hello. You can write down anything because you are writing it to your near and dear one. बॉडी में क्या लिखना है, मेन पार्ट जो होता है उसमें, तो वो भी 3 पैराग्राफ में एट द मोस्ट 3 पैराग्राफ में आप डिवाइड कर सकते हो. What is the matter, purpose behind writing the letter, beginning, main content and ending, and sender's name and signature. Okay, so you are Garima or Gaurav, write a letter to your friend Sanjana or Sanjay, inviting him to your birthday party. Give details regarding the date, time, venue, etc. Add interesting details like theme, dress code, etc. Fine. So this is a kind of formal letter. See, it is written, the address should be written on the left hand side without any punctuation mark. 45 Janmark, Delhi, date, and then you write down like this: Dear Sanjay, hi, you are invited to my birthday party on 25th of August. The party will be at Archie's Place, Nehru Park from 4 to 7 p.m. As the party is based on the Spider-Man theme, please wear a dress in red or black color combination. It will be fun as I have arranged a mask game, a Spidey web game, and a never seen before neon light and music show. I'm very excited as I will wear a special Spidey costume designed by my sister. Please come as it will be a good to have your company. Also bring your brother Saurav, waiting for your confirmation, your name. Fine. So you can even include another paragraph about in the first paragraph you can say that how are you, I hope your exam must be cleared and you have a very good presentation also in your performance also in your also, and in that way you can have the first paragraph. Fine. Next, so this is a kind of informal letter is written with this purpose. Again, when you are writing, when you are saluting, you can have, unlike a formal letter, you can be very informal to your friend, to your sibling even. For example, you are in hostel and you want to tell your parents about, you are in hostel and you want to inform your parents about something or the other, about your payment of fees, you can definitely say, okay, through the letter. And for that, you have to say, as you are writing to your parents, अपने मम्मी पापा को लिख रहे हैं तो आप वही लैंग्वेज में लिखोगे. तो कोई भी स्ट्रिक्टली उसमें फॉर्मेट आपको नहीं फॉलो करना है, because you are writing to your near and dear one. So main content, beginning आप लिख सकते हो कि respected papa, respected mama, how are you, how is life going on, आपकी हेल्थ कैसी है, वो सब आप ऐसे लिख सकते हो. मेन कंटेंट में भी आप ऐसा लिख सकते हो कि आप अपनी तबीयत का ख्याल रखिएगा, अभी आप ठंड बहुत है, से फॉर एग्जांपल इट इज इन विंटर, यू से इमेजिन दैट, सो आप अपनी तबीयत का ख्याल रखिएगा, ये खाना खाना. So in this way you can write down, and definitely we will meet very soon after my exam. So you can have some extra details also in this sort of letter. Fine. So informal letter is another type of letter wherein you need to have a language, restrictions, not any kind of restrictions. But in formal letter type, we need to understand, because it is written to the official generally, we need to follow certain strict format. Okay, address on the left hand side of the page, even other details also would be left hand side only. Date, leave a line and write down a date. So in this way, we write down later. And definitely it is very useful to you. You can write practice letters also at your home and have practice also. There are so many subjects available of formal and informal letter. Okay, if you have any question, because it was slightly tough, just ask me in comment box. Fine. We end here. We'll definitely meet very soon. I hope you have enjoyed and gone through each and every point. Thank you very much.